think you might be wondering what I'm doing on here with four gorgeous men. So before we start, we might need to watch this. Whoops.
My name's Douglas Carnegie. I'm 85. One of the things I didn't think I'd be doing now is living.
My name is John and I'm 80 years of age and I've just joined the gym.
My name's Dennis and I'm 85 and I didn't think I'd be driving at my age.
My name's Brian and I'm 75 years old and I live my life without any restrictions.
My name's John, I'm 65 years of age and I took part in a naked calendar shoot in a pub, and I never dreamed at my age that that's the sort of thing I would do. How about that?
That's it, is it? Oh, that was a good start, wasn't it? Hello, my name is Patrick, I'm 74, and I didn't ever think I'd be part of a pensioners club or playing bowls.
It's not a pensioners club.
It is.
It's the geezers.
Yeah,
You're
but
a
it's...
geezer.
Oh, you want the geezers mentioned, do you? Okay, the geezers club. It's still a pensioners club.
So a very, very warm welcome to the very unpredictable, the geezers. Whoops. A warm welcome to Charlie, Ricky, Don, and Chief Geezer Ray. So, Ray, a pensioners club? What would you call the geezers?
Well, what can I say? A pensioners club. I don't like the word pensioners. And when we first started, someone kept calling us the old geezers club. So we soon got rid of the word old.
Yeah.
Yes. No, it's a great club, and we really enjoy life. And in the last 14 years since we started it, I can't wait for every Tuesday to turn up when we meet.
So tell us how it started.
Well, it was, I took early retirement and I wanted to do something because I've always been fairly active in my life. And I used to go in Age Concern then, which is now called Age UK. And they offered me a job part-time for a reason. The reason they offered me the job was they wanted me to go and find out why older men weren't going into their day centres. So with a couple of young ladies that worked there, we went round the pubs, we went round the market, because we're based in a market in East London, the Roman Road Market. I don't know if any of you know it, it's fairly famous. We went into pubs, in the betting shops, and talking to elderly men that was just watching the world go by leaning on the railings. Wherever you go where there's railings, you'll always find men just watching the world go by. And I got two or three of them together and asked them why you didn't go into the day centre, because there's a luncheon club there and they do all sorts of things to try and keep you happy during the day. They didn't want to do line dancing, they didn't want to play bingo every day, they didn't want to do crowning and all the other things that you do in there. So I went back after about a month of doing this, finding out, and they said try and get a few of them together and see what they actually want to do. And that's what we done. We started off with about 3 or 4 of us. And the one thing, we're all what you call blue-collar workers, or were blue-collar workers. So we always either worked in industries, in factories, labouring. I was an HGV driver towards the last 30 years of my life. So we didn't come from an office space or anything like that. And I don't know if any of you have worked in the sort of environment I'm talking about, but you always have a laugh and a joke. You talk about football, you talk about women and things like that, and all the things that you get up to. And so they're the sort of things that you know, they knew that they couldn't get away with by going into a normal Age UK afternoon club. So it weren't only that. What we decided to do, what do you want to do? We want to go out and about. We want to still do things. So since we started, we try. I try to get someone in every week to talk to us about all different things. We've had footballers in, we've had politicians in, we've had lovely ladies come in and talk to us about all different things. And then we like to go out. We like to go out at least once a month. And then there was a lot of things that we used to debate amongst ourselves. So we decided that we would try and do something about it. And I also was the school governor at the time. Is that all right for a minute? Yeah.
He's very good.
And that's what I was talking about, intergenerational. Yeah.
We'll come back to that. So Ray is chief geezer. Okay, so Ray, chief geezer, pushes everyone else. So Ricky, Charlie and Dom, how did you get to be part of the geezers? Ricky first.
Well, I joined just after my missus passed away, and it's just something I wanted to do, and I'm glad that I've done it, you know, which, yeah, it's great. We do a lot of good things, you know, it's really magic.
Yeah, and Don, I know you told me when we met here, Ray, give the mic. Don, you told me that you were one of Don's the quiet one because he had 6 sisters.
Yep.
So how did you meet Ray?
It was through my sister's husband. I mean, he knew Ray for years, and he said to me about joining the club. And he said, old men. I thought, I don't want to go over there, like all these old men. And anyhow, I was introduced, and I went over to see Ray and other things, and I went to one of the meetings, and it was absolutely marvellous.
What's it given you?
I've got lots of things to do now. As you say, we go out here, out there, help out here, and anything that needed doing, we do. And it's really, really good, you know.
And Charlie?
I joined the Geezers through my wife. She was, there's a sister act to us called the Bow Bells. And she kept on to me, why don't you join the Geezers? Ray keeps saying, join the Geezers. So I said, all right, I'll go down there. And I've been there now for about 8 or 9 years. And I've enjoyed we don't argue, we don't row, and we go out on trips. And there should be more people like us all over the country. And we even had talks with people in America who are doing it on the internet. They called us up on the internet and we told them about us. They told them how they get on. And it's really good. And I wouldn't leave it for anything. It's top thing.
And you were telling me last week that old people aren't really grumpy?
No, I think the younger generation think all old people are miserable gits. And I don't find it that way. I talk to young people. I was telling them last week how I was trying to pump my tyre up on my bike. And these 2 little kids who live where I live, they come up to me and said, what are you pumping up for? I've got an electric one. So it just shows you then that kids will get into old people.
Yeah. So Ray, I mean, it sounds like you're doing lots of things. You're showing that people aren't grumpy. You're doing intergenerational work. What role does loneliness? Is loneliness something that the group experiences?
Yeah, that's what I found. And like Ricky and Don, they just lost their wives in the last 2 years, and I know I used to work in the factory situation and where you're working with all men. And I've seen men, once they retire and they've been working in an environment with loads of other people, you talk about a retire and then someone will tell you about 6 months later, do you know so-and-so, he passed away. And you think to yourself, there was nothing wrong with that man when he retired. And I think it's a lot of loneliness comes into life, especially if a man loses his partner and he's left on his own and his children. He might have children, but they don't live with him and they've got their own lives to lead. And I think this is what's brought all the best out in us, and it's why we like doing things and we love working with other youngsters. We've made a couple of films, because I was a school governor in a poor little school, a secondary school in Bow, where it wasn't a very good school, and the headmaster, I loved him so much because he took all the waves and strays in that had been excluded from the other good schools, and he'd done something with them. And we worked with them. We made a film, if you look on our website, it's called Them and Now. Them and Now. We talked about how we grew up just after the war and how they're growing up now. And we was nominated to the Royal Society of Arts, and we won £5,000 to put in our club for working with communities, for breaking down the barrier. And we've gone on, we love working with the kids. We always have a laugh and a joke with it. And it's broke up the area where we live. We live on a market area in the East End of London. I live on a turning that leads up to the market, and the boys hang about of a night up there, especially now the nights are getting darker, and older people wouldn't go up there to go and get their shopping or anything. But we've broke that barrier down.
You've done that, and they've broken a few barriers down because, you know, you've become campaigners.
Yeah.
You know, you're campaigning for your local community, and you've just got some really interesting techniques. Yeah, yeah. So, Charlie, what's this all about?
Oh, this was we got a thing going. We was all sitting down one afternoon, and one of the younger fellas, he's about 77, he come out with a thing. You can't get in a pub today. The malt has changed hands now. It's become a posh pub. That's what we call them. Anyway, so why is that? Anyway, that afternoon we counted all the public houses that are shut round our area, and it came to 93 public houses shut. So we thought we'd do a thing and have this calendar made, and we had two lovely young girls help us. She's on all the photography and that, and it was called Where's Our Boozer Gone? So we sold calendars in the year before last. We got rid of about half the calendars. We still had a lot over, but we're giving them all away. They're still giving them away now.
So Ricky, were you in the calendar as well? No, you weren't in the calendar. Okay.
These two, they'd never joined the club.
Right. So this was your new ones. So how did you feel liberated, Ray? I mean, how did you feel?
Yeah, I think it was the greatest thing. And I mean, if you'd have been there the day we go in a lovely pub that's oldie worldy, and in the week it doesn't open till 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we got in there at 9 o'clock one morning to film this with three lovely young ladies, artists, and we work with them all the time now. And we was in there all day doing this calendar. And if anyone's seen every page of the calendar, you'll know why we was in there all that time. And what was it? See, we came from, when I grew up, the community centre was the pub. Not because everyone went drinking, but it's where my dad first took me when I first left school. And he introduced me to all his friends, and he said, if you come in here, if you misbehave, I'll know about it, because one of them will tell me. And then I met other people. And I like playing football. I played football from the pub, played darts from the pub, played shove-ankney from the pub. It was a complete community centre. If anyone passed away, we had a collection in the pub. If anyone never turned up, someone would know where they lived, someone would go and find out if they were all right. It was a complete community centre. And what's happened now, all over the country, they're shutting them down and just building flats. But I'm sure some of you young people don't just want to live in your £500,000 flat if you can afford it. You must want to come out and meet other people and get to know your area. And that's what we was worried about. And that's why we started this campaign.
So that was one of the campaigns. And Ricky, one of the other campaigns, and Dom, is all around men's health. How important is it that you're using your wisdom and in your insight to look at men's health? And I'll ask you from Dom.
It was mainly testicular cancer. I mean, most men are prostrate cancer, and they don't like to go up there. And they're a bit ashamed to do it, but it's just something that we've worked on hard and harder and harder, and people are taking a bit more notice.
Yeah. So what have you been doing, Ricky, in terms of trying to get...
We've got one, sorry.
Went round to the surgeries, and when we had a meet up, we had doctors, speaking up for us and all that, and I think it's took off, and we've had several meetings, and one of the things I did say, which I had to stand in for Ray, is what we want to do, see when we've got it alive, keep it going. Yeah. You don't want to die on us now, you know. And that's what we've been doing.
So your men's health campaigners, your community campaigners, you're doing loads of things. Charlie, what do you think the impact has been on you being part of the Geezers?
The impact? Oh, well, for a start, I don't sit about indoors. I'm never indoors, I'm always out. And the things that Ray does as well, and he's got another young fellow who helps Ray, he couldn't be here today, it's just Jamie come here. Between them, they do loads and loads of work, but we don't even realise what they're doing. And Ray's getting young lately, he can't take the pressure. He's always moaning at us, someone's got to take over.
Exactly.
No one wants to know.
We need to work on your succession plan, what's going to happen. So Ricky, what's been the impact on you of being part of the Geezers?
Well, as I say, it's made a difference in my life because I'm always out. I'll make a point of going out, always busy, so that's good.
Yeah. And Don, what's been the impact on you?
Well, it's just the company. I mean, I used to sit indoors on my own because I only moved down there about 2.5 years before. And my wife passed away when I was there, and to be honest with you, I didn't know a soul. And there was somebody who said to me about going to the Geezers, and I said, I don't want to go out with all them old men, sitting over there every day. And I was introduced, I went over, met Ray, and I haven't looked back since.
Tell them what your daughter said. What your daughter said about you doing.
I wouldn't like to say.
Go on, tell us. Do you know?
It's the best thing.
She said it's the best thing happened to me. She said she can see the difference in me straight away.
Yeah.
Within a few weeks.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Well, so in terms of, what are your tips for ageing well? We've got a few people who are trying to work out what they should be doing.
Well, get off their backsides and get out and do something.
And what would your tips be?
Yeah, I do agree with all that. I mean, I always want to wake up in the morning with something to do. I don't like watching daytime television. I mean, it's dreadful, daytime television. As well as some of the nighttime television is just as bad. I want something to get up and do, and we always seem to have something to do. And it's good. We just keep getting people. The amount of people that we've met that we would never, ever met before. We have some lovely people coming to talk to us, and we have some debates with them, and we put our points of view, and it's lovely. And it makes you, I've had a say in life, You're letting people know what you think about what's going on. And it does me good because I don't stop telling my grandchildren and my great-grandchildren what they're doing wrong, like we all do as parents and as granddads. But I do worry about the future. We won't be here all the time, but I do worry about what's going on in the world, and I want them to realise, and I want them to speak up for themselves, and want people to find out and make their contribution to their lives. Yeah.
And anything to add, Ricky? What do you want people here to think about? What do you want maybe they could do differently when they've heard about the geezers, want to find out more? Or what do you think? What do you want people here to do differently?
Well, I think one of the things you've got to do is to get out, meet other people, and after people today, I mean, you get on a tube or a bus, what are they doing? Looking at that phone. Nobody talks today. And that's a shame. That is a shame. So, as I say, people have got to get out more and they've got to talk.
Yeah.
That's one of the things.
Yeah.
You know?
So a final word from Charlie and final word. So any advice? What advice would you give to people here?
Well, you all look a happy lot, so I can't tell you to be happy. But just the same as those, really. Don't waste your life while you're young. Get about and do as much as you can, because I think us four had the best in this country. People our age, we had the best in this country. I mean, we was born with no fridges and things like that. We never had that when we was kids. All of a sudden, we had all that. We could go out of a pound on a Saturday night and come home with 5 bob, and you've had a good night. But you lot, I hear my grandchildren saying, done 60 quid last night. How can you do 60 quid in a pub?
So that's the message for you, particularly people working in the charity sector. You know how to save your money. And a final word to, I'll leave the final words to Don. What would you, and a very short word. What would you say to them? What do you think they could be doing differently?
I honestly don't know. I mean, they've said most of the things.
Okay. So
I'm lost for words, to be honest with you.
He's lost for words. So final word to Chief Geezer.
Yeah, I mean, what we have done, we've spread the word. In our borough alone, there's 3 other geezer-type clubs started with just men. And I know when we first started, and it's amazing that it was Age UK that put us up to this, where we was all supposed to be, you can't have men's clubs and you can't have women's clubs, we've all got to be together. I'm not saying, I mean, I love getting women in to talk to us, but we do want to talk sometimes about the things that probably would bore the pants off of women, but and we want to do some of the things that would bore the pants off you, like this calendar or something like that. But you know, there is places for us as we get older to chew the fat and have a good time, and go home and tell our family all about it.
Great. Yeah. Well, can we all thank Charlie, Ricky, Don and Ray? Thank you.